Before kids were getting lit and turned up, it was all about cool beans, all that in a bag of chips, and Coolio. But what does it mean? What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz here for Cinephellas.com to review the brand new Netflix series, Everything Sucks. The show is created by Ben York Jones and Michael Mohan. It's a take on the 90s, 1996 specifically, in Boring, Oregon. Boring, Oregon, never heard of it. Maybe a fake town, but the show takes place at a high school, Boring High School, with the AV Club, Audio Video Club. Yes, I remember those. And picks up with a group of teenagers. Luke is played by Jahai Winston. We have Kate, played by Peyton Kennedy, and their group of friends. They're in this audio video club, and you know, it's the awkwardness of being a freshman in high school, not really knowing a lot of people, really trying to find herself. Luke and Kate become friends right off the bat. They're both a little socially awkward, you know, they're young freshmen, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do, you know, in high school. Everything's really awkward. It takes place in the 90s, as I can relate, you know, with the fashion and the music and all the pop culture references. It's, you know, a really great show. And these are the two focal points of the series. Both Luke and Kate have similar backgrounds. They both grew up in a single parent household. Kate's mother passed away at a young age, and Luke's dad just basically took off. He was an aspiring filmmaker, and throughout the show he finds some old VHS tapes of his vlog, as we call it today, but it's basically just some VHS tapes of his dad talking about movies and life and his family and whatnot. Tyler and McQuaid are Luke's two friends that are also part of the AV Club. They're the goofballs of the show. They're really hilarious. Tyler kind of looks like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead, which he does some references from the show. TP from my bunghole. And McQuaid is kind of like the intellectual friend that's super smart and is always cautious as to what his friends are doing and always kind of pointing them in the right direction and saying, hey, you shouldn't do that. The show's premise is the AV Club versus the Drama Club. The Drama Club are always putting on these renditions in the cafeteria. It's super dramatic, obviously, and they really don't get along for a specific reason as to the AV Club doing something to compromise their upcoming play. And with the Drama Club really messing with Luke and his friends, you know, like prank calling them back in the day. You had to pull your phone off the hook, you know, so people would stop calling you. And they're really out to get these guys, these young kids, because of what they did to their play. And it really sets up the rest of the story. Eventually, you know, they hash it out, and it's all based on this movie that they're making. And Luke is writing, directing the film, and using the Drama Club as actors, and it's really, really great. You know, it reminds me of being this age. I was in AV Club and you know, cutting film on VHS tapes and making a really crappy movie, but it was all about the experience and having fun and just being a high school kid. Everything Sucks is much like Freaks and Geeks meets Stranger Things meets a John Hughes movie from the 80s or 90s. It really pulls on your heartstrings. It keeps you invested in these characters. The storyline is really, really well done. And for only 10 episodes, each episode is like 20 minutes long, so you can really knock this out in a night or two like my wife and I did. But it's a nostalgic ride for, you know, people that actually grew up in the 90s or people, young kids today that are teenagers in 2018. There's a lot of nostalgic elements such as music and fashion, just little Easter eggs they throw in throughout the show. Throwing in Alanis Morissette, Tori Amos, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I mean, the soundtrack is phenomenal. I actually been listening to it on Spotify. It's really taken me back to the days of being in high school, and I really thoroughly enjoy that part. I would say it's a universal show. You know, people today can relate to this. You didn't have to grow up in 1996 to understand the premise and understand what these kids are going through, these teenagers, because it's still relatable today. You know, with liking that guy or girl in high school, you know, questioning your sexuality and dealing with family issues like a single parent, you know, trying to figure out who you want to be, what you want to do with your life as a teenager. There's a lot of great themes here that we can relate to in 2018, and that's another really great aspect of this show. Kate and Luke's dynamic chemistry. You know, they're really good friends. He starts to like her like most teenage boys will like the girl that they're friend with. You know, it kind of evolves, but as the show progresses, you know, Kate's dealing with her sexuality and really liking girls and not guys. So they really dive into that, but their relationship is really great throughout the show. They have ups and downs, and different circumstances happen. And they go to a Tori Amos concert in Portland, Oregon, and that's when shit really hits the fan. And you know, when Luke is heartbroken over and over again, his friends are there to help him, and they're like, I told you so. Especially McQuaid, he's like, I told you from the beginning, girls are evil, you can't trust them. His whole outlook on girls really changes throughout the show as well. They all do, because they're hitting puberty and they're starting to get feelings for the, you know, opposite sex, and the awkwardness of how to talk to a girl, and it's really funny. And the show has a lot of great comedy in it. I was laughing throughout all the 10 episodes. A lot of funny jokes and a lot of funny instances in the episodes that we could relate to as being an awkward teenager. And one of my favorite parts of the show is when the AV Club, the drama club, are making this film, this sci-fi film. They go to the Dominguez Rocks, which is in Southern California. It's actually the Vasquez Rocks. Filmed a lot of great shows and movies there, speaking of which is Star Trek, the original show with William Shatner was filmed there, Austin Powers, Blazing Saddles, and more importantly, Army of Darkness. Groovy. So overall, Everything Sucks did not suck in any way. I was really skeptical going in the show. I watched the trailer. I'm like, it's going to be another Stranger Things where they're cashing in on the nostalgia of this time period, but I really enjoyed it. I was invested from the first episode to the very end, and really hoping they do a second season to see what happens to these teenagers. And this is a show that pulls on your heartstrings and never lets you go. A really great storyline here with all the characters, Kate and Luke and their relationship, and Kate's parent being the principal of the school. He was really funny and great in the show, and also Luke's mom. I wish they would have dived into more of the drama club, the older kids in the show. They were just kind of there and didn't like the AV Club, but hopefully the next season they'll dive into their characters a little more and get more of a backstory with them. So overall, I'm going to give Everything Sucks a 4.5 out of 5 frosted hair pieces. So what do you guys think? Did you guys grow up in the 90s? Or were you in school during the 90s to really relate to the show with the fashion and the music and the pop culture phenomena? Or are you a younger person that has no idea about the 90s and just really are invested in the show because of the storyline and the overall themes? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out from the Dominguez Rocks. Whew, it's pretty hot up here, isn't it? Until next time, cheers!